Senate Committee on Health and Human Services will come to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Nelson.
Here.
Senator Duell.
Here.
Senator Huffman.
Here.
Senator Nichols.
Here.
Senator Schwartner.
Present.
Senator Taylor.
Here.
Senator Uresti.
Present.
Senator West. Senator Zaffarini. Quorum is present.
Quorum is established. Members, welcome back. During the regular session and the first special session, we had extensive member deliberations on the subject matter that is before us today. I want to allocate as much time as possible today to public testimony. We will not be voting on Senate Bill 1 at the conclusion of today's hearing. We will wait until the House bill arrives, and at that time we're going to have another, I'm sure, very healthy discussion among the members before we take our vote. To our guests, welcome to your Texas Capitol. I know that many of you have taken time away from your businesses and your families to appear before us, and we appreciate your participation, and we look forward to your testimony. I will remind everyone in the audience that this committee is operating under parliamentary rules of decorum. This is a passionate issue for everyone here, no matter which side you are on. As chair, and I have to tell you all, I'm an old teacher, I will strive for orderly and respectful hearing that gives all witnesses the opportunity to express their views before this committee. Disruptions of any kind will not be tolerated. I will give one warning, and then if there is a subsequent outburst, I will stop the hearing. I will ask the Sergeant-at-Arms and DPS to clear the room. And I'm sure that there are individuals in the overflow rooms that are hearing what I'm saying. Our order of business is going to go as follows. I will ask Senator Hager to lay out the bill. We will have about an hour for members to ask questions. At 11 a.m., and this is very important that everybody understand this, at 11 a.m., we're going to begin public testimony, starting with a panel of 4 invited witnesses. We ask 2 people from each side of the discussion to come before us and provide public testimony and kind of give us a platform from which to discuss these issues. For those who wish to provide oral testimony, you have to fill out a witness card at the registration area. They look like this. And that witness card will contain a number. That is your group number. If you're holding a card for Group 1, we ask that you report to the hearing room at this time. I'm assuming everybody in here is in Group 1. You've got your seats. Now, the second group waiting will be in the room right across the hallway. If you're in Group 2, you will wait until Group 1 finishes. Group 1, when you finish, I'm going to call you up in groups of 4. When you finish, and I'm really going to try to alternate between 2 supporting the bill, 2 in opposition to the bill. When you finish your testimony, you will exit out this door over here. And then we're going to just keep that process until we hear everybody who has come to testify. Oh, we're going in groups of 6. I take that back. We're doing 3 and 3, groups of 6. I have great staff sitting here. If I call an individual's name twice and they are not here, we are not going to give them an opportunity to provide oral testimony. We're going to change it to what your testimony is, but that you aren't here to provide oral testimony. But you get 2 calls, and I think everybody will hear their name and be ready. This is obviously the largest Senate hearing room in the Capitol, but the seating in this room is limited in relation to the number of guests that we have here with us today. Viewing rooms have been set up downstairs throughout the Capitol extension. For anyone who wishes to provide written testimony, to accompany your oral testimony, we request 20 copies and that your name be on each copy. If you brought only 1 copy, that's fine. We will make copies for the other members. But turn in your written testimony to the clerk when it is time to testify. Understand, due to the massive amount of paper that we're going to have, We're going to do the best we can to keep up with the volume, but I have asked staff to assemble all that in packets rather than have people walking in front of us throughout this hearing, handing out papers and piling up on our desk. We're going to assemble packets and give them to each senator. Now, if you need to have, if your testimony has graphs or charts or whatever, and you want us to have that during your testimony, please let us know, and we'll do our best to accommodate that request. Otherwise, rest assured that every member will receive a copy of written testimony. One of our challenges is to afford the public a reasonable opportunity to provide input while preserving our ability to conduct business within the 30 days that we have during this special session. It is my plan, pay attention, it is my plan to hear public testimony from everyone who is in line right now and everyone who is in line to register by 11 o'clock today a.m. If they are not in line at 11 o'clock a.m., they will not be able to provide oral testimony, but they can still line up to turn in a position. They can turn in written testimony. But, you know, we can't just keep hearing people and people and people. So we're going to say, if you're in line right now, I'll stay here. My committee members will stay here for the rest of the week, if necessary, to hear the people who are in line right now. And we're going to give it till 11 o'clock. DPS is going to be ready, standing there to cut off the line for oral testimony at 11 o'clock. So that's kind of the lay of the land. As soon as we have our final number of registered witnesses wishing to provide oral testimony, I will let everyone know how many individuals we have signed up. It's probably going to take us an hour to count how many we have. That will at least give us a ballpark idea of how long that this hearing will last. We are not going to cut off testimony at a time certain. I am prepared, and I'm sure the committee is, to go as long as it takes to ensure that everyone who showed up and signed up within the time permitted has the opportunity to have their voice heard, so long as you report when your name is called. I'm sure that some of you have questions of Senator Hager and possibly questions of me, and I will recognize you for those questions after Senator Hager has had the opportunity to lay out his bill. So with that, the chair lays out Senate Bill 1 and recognizes its author, Senator Hager, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, members. Thank you, everybody, for being here today, to everybody who is in the witness room, as well as everyone that's in the Capitol. Members, those that are on the committee, and those that are members of the Senate, I say thank you for all the length of debate that we had in the first special session, the regular session, and I have no doubt that we will continue to have this special session number 2. Madam Chair, thank you for having your former teacher come out in you today and be very clear to everyone. Very clear to everyone, not once, twice, and probably 3 times, regardless of how you feel about this particular bill. And so thank you for laying that out over and over again. I think everybody can appreciate that. You run a tremendous hearing, and thank you, Madam Chair. I will begin. I'll briefly go through the bill. I think most people are very familiar with it, and I'll be happy to answer questions. Senate Bill 1, as I had stated in the previous special session, which we had Senate Bill 5, that recent peer-reviewed studies describe the anatomical, behavioral, and psychological evidence for pain that is present at 20 weeks of life. The pre-pain section of this bill accomplishes 2 goals. Number 1, it establishes the state's compelling interest in a preborn child who can feel pain. The bill also bans an abortion at 20 weeks threshold. This section of the bill requires that prior to any abortion, a doctor must first confirm the probable post-fertilization age of the unborn child. If the child is 20 weeks or older, the bill prohibits the doctor from performing an abortion. However, there are exceptions. Number 1, a medical emergency. The same definition is used in the 2011 legislative session. If the pregnancy threatens the mother's physical life or causes substantial irreversible impairment to major bodily function. And second, for severe fetal anomaly when the child would not be able to live. The bill also raises the standard of care by requiring all abortion facilities to become licensed ambulatory surgical centers, one that ensures that qualified medical personnel are available for emergency treatment. The facility meets operating room requirements, the facility meets pre-op room requirements, and the other requirements that we require here in the state of ambulatory surgical centers. The bill also requires abortion doctors would be required to secure admitting privileges at a hospital within 30 miles of the clinic at which he or she performs abortions, and these higher standards for facilities and abortionists would apply to both surgical and medical abortions in Texas. More specifically, the bill codifies a requirement that mirrors the U.S. FDA protocol for medical abortion and also adheres to the guidelines of the American Congress of OB/GYN for the use of RU 486. In this portion of the bill, the prescribing physician must examine the patient, her records, and also determine the gestational age of the child. The prescribing physician must provide information about the drug as well as contact information and schedule follow-up visits. And Madam Chair, with that, I'll be happy to yield for questions.
Thank you, Senator Hager.